Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking. You're always looking for and finding the good. You found good in abundance because you tuned in consciously and conscientiously to Eye on Las Vegas with your humble host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. Notice I didn't say the ambassador of joy, the ambassador of joy, because on this particular podcast, we revel in and bring about some of the most joyous, the most free, the most loving, the most beneficial, bountiful, beautiful, beloved people on the planet. You ask anybody, by the way, you go anywhere in the world and you mention two words, Las Vegas, people's eyes open up. Everybody knows about it, heard about it. Let me give you an idea of what this city of this pulsating energy is all about. If you take the entire population of the city of New York and everything around it, the entire population of Chicago and everything around it, the entire population of Los Angeles, everything around it, add them all up, it doesn't come to the number of people who come to, through, and from for Las Vegas every year. 41 million people coming through here, and they're attracted to the energy that's here. And you're going to meet energy in just a moment. We're going to introduce you to one of the most impactful, amazing, transformative beings I've ever had the pleasure of working with. And her name is fabulous Nicole Slade. Nicole, please say hello to 501,613 people around the world.
Hello. Such an honor to be here, Barry. Thank you so much.
You're entirely welcome. We're so happy that you're here. So if you're watching this, you get an extra benefit. And that is that you get to see the beautiful part of me. That's Nicole. Look at that smile. Look at that nice long hair. Look at that beaming, beneficent, beautiful being. And if you're only listening, then you get to hear her voice, her lilting, upbeat voice. Now, if I start telling you all the accomplishments of Nicole, it would take the rest of the show. I'm going to tell you three different data points. Number one, Nicole she's a fundraising strategist. And not only that, she's a super connector, and she's building her world on specializing and helping nonprofits. The second thing is that she is passionate about empowering other people. We're going to talk a little bit about trauma to triumph. And number three, her greatest title in the world is that of Nana. She's a grandmother. So without further ado, wonderful Nicole, so happy that you're here. Let's just jump right in and talk about, okay, everybody knows the words impact. When you live impact, what does it mean to create impact in today's fast-paced, distracting world?
Yeah, well, for me, creating impact is coming from that heart space, right? It's so easy. We all show up in this world and we all have our egos and our personalities and the things we're trying to accomplish. And I think when we take a step back and we really step into that heart space and we really drop into our hearts, we're able to truly connect with people. And that's where impact starts, is with that connection. And through connecting with people, we're able to come together and we're able to see one another heart to heart, and we're able to create a bigger impact, right? As we continue, because I can only see in you what I see in myself. And so I really believe impact starts here, because our outer world is a direct reflection of our inner world. And so to me, that's impact. It's starting here and then it's taking it outward.
So let me share with you an acronym, because people know me as the king of acronyms, the ambassador of joy. HEART is a wonderful acronym, helping everyone achieve remarkable transformation.
Yes.
And I think that's what you do. I mean, let's be blunt. We know about you and what you've done. It's no secret. You are, whatever you say is true, in the sense that you connect the best people whose intentions are not just transactional, but transformational. You see, in business, is an interesting idea of business. My father taught me this at the age of 9, and it's a great story about me shoveling snow. But suffice to say, I had come in from shoveling snow that day, and I had made $55. I was 9 years old, and my allowance was 25 cents a week. So I was very happy. And he sat me down, poured me a cup of hot chocolate, and he said, "My dear beloved son," which he used to know those words. He said, "How do you spell business?" I'm 9 years old. I'm smart. Business. He says, right. Notice that the U comes before the I. When you take care of the other, the you, and the I will always take care of. That is who you are. The first word in impact is I. However, as you know, in business, the you comes first. So let's talk about what you do, how you do it. And I don't mind if you drop some names and give us some success stories.
Sure. Well, what we do is we host events. So there's a bigger event that we host. It's called Jets and Capital. That one's an event that brings people together from all over the world. That one is a very exclusive event for people deploying capital. About 80% of the room is deploying capital. About 20% of the room is seeking capital. We hold those in airport hangars across the U.S. right now. We've done some events in Mar-a-Lago. And so that's kind of where everything started. And so we have these big events. They're really fun. We've had some wonderful people come through. We had RFK at one of them. We had Donald Trump at one of the Mar-a-Lago ones. So these have been really great events, right? But everybody's coming together to create more capital. And what I wanted to create was something where everybody's coming together to create more impact. And I believe the capital follows that. So we created a group of events that will actually go right along with Jets and Capital. It'll be the official Jets and Capital pre-event, kind of the kickoff event, and it's called Impact Global. And so right this time we're doing one called Impact Vegas, but we get people in the room that aren't just high net worth, but they're high heart worth. And it's people that want to connect on that level, like I said, going heart to heart and being able to create impact together. Because like you said, you comes first. And so it's people that have that mission and that drive in mind, and we're getting together in a room and we're just creating beautiful things together. And then I believe the money and the capital that follows all of that.
So I want to unpack something for the audience. So first of all, I'm so honored and humbled that you're here today. And our audience is global. Most of the people under the age of 30. And everybody, again, loves the idea of Las Vegas and the glitter and the glitz and such. And it really is a place of energy and of heart. And I want to make mention, as you said, when you get together with people and the radiance is that of heart to heart, by definition, capital must come because it's called the law of attraction, right?
Yes.
There are two ways that you can do things in life. You can chase or you attract. Now, and by the way, both of them, chasing can work. I've seen it. We all tried it. It can work. The ability to attract is far more powerful and more sustainable. Now, I'll give you an example. When we talk about law, people think of law, they think of the police car with that thing spinning around. People get nervous, they constrict. What you do, Nicole, is talk about expansion, because law is a great acronym that stands for love awakens wisdom. Love, heart to heart, awakens wisdom. Wisdom says, I want to build. And again, the you comes before the I, and building takes capital. We love conscious capitalism, don't we?
Yes. Conscious capitalism and conscious creation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So again, you're talking about being in Mar-a-Lago, you're talking about in Las Vegas, and give us an example, if you would, of something that you've been involved with that you saw, let's say, start as an acorn and now is a mighty oak.
I would say just the event itself. It started out a small event and it's just caught fire. And it's because we're bringing together those pieces. Jets and Capital has gotten pretty big now. We have to turn away people. And like we're hosting one in Las Vegas, and that's super exciting. But we'll have the room filled. And so it's crazy to see from the first one, because my husband and I were at the first one with our nonprofit. We were one of the first sponsors, and for it to grow from there. But then even in our lives, what's grown from that, right? Just meeting people and being able to grow what we're doing. And, starting out as a small nonprofit, and now we're getting ready to build a large facility so that we can host more events. And our events are based on transformation. But in people that have experienced trauma, but even that has just been able to grow from there, right?
Let's talk about the T word for the moment,
Yeah.
because people, and we urge everybody, share this podcast with five people you love. You want to share with 50 or 100, that's great also, but at least five. We have over 500,000 people listening. We'll touch 2.5+ million people. And we urge you, of course, follow us on Spotify and Apple, because that makes a difference. We just love it. And God willing, I think within 6 months or so, we'll probably be at 1 million people listening on a regular basis. And it's because of Nicole. She uses the T word. See, people are always looking for information, right? There's lots of information. I need to know more. Plenty of information on the web. Sometimes overload, right?
Yes.
People also love inspiration. Oh, Barry, I love listening to you. It's so wonderful. Nicole, she's upbeat. I love it. Yeah. Like Chinese food, a couple of hours later, you need more. What you really talk about and what you live is the T word, transformation. Now, transformation is what we call a shift in perspective. A small shift. Now, the interesting thing about shift is you got to keep that F in place or the other stuff happens. Shift, pronounce it properly, keep the F in there, and then you can internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words in life, which are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. So you have chosen to use trauma to transform you and people around you, and to build a nonprofit. As you said, Jetson Capital, right? You're turning away people who, by the way, you charge thousands of dollars to come. It's in a hangar, and it's a private hangar with private jets. People are flying in, and it's a coordinated process of saying we're all here for the same purpose, and that's the P word, purpose. So let's talk about purpose and connection. How do purpose and connection go together, Nicole?
Well, I think like attracts like, right? You want love, you want to create more love, you do that with love, right? You want to create more purpose, you do that with purpose, by living your purpose. And then what happens is you come together in a room, and there's a room full of people, and I experience this all the time. You feel naturally attracted to certain people, right? And you have that intuition, and then you find that you're in alignment. And you get together and you're both living a purpose. And when you can find that alignment within that purpose, I think you just create a greater purpose, right? You're able to go out and we call it defining your honorable mission. And you're able to go out and live that mission and expand that mission and serve others. Because, it all comes back to the purpose that we have is service of one another.
So we discussed on this podcast and on my other podcast called The Joy of Living, that the 3 fundamentals of life. Number 1, your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, number 2 happens. In this case, good number 2, you go mad. Nicole is a mad woman. What does mad stand for? Make a difference. And the third is to unlock the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms, such as smile. SMILE stands for seeing miracles in life every day. Not only does Nicole see miracles, she is a miracle worker, and she does it with the greatest possible process in the world, which is, as she just said, heart to heart. And when that happens, there's nothing can stand in the way of it. That energy is so great that there's no force in the world that can stop it. We call it a tsunami of goodness every day. It's called a toga. That's what you wear, a tsunami of goodness every day. Always. So we're going to do one thing right now. We have sponsors that love the show, and we wouldn't have them on if we didn't think they're worthy of your time. So we're going to have a brief break. We'll be right back with more amazing Nicole on the other side of this. Don't go away, because she is dynamo.
What if you could shop at your favorite local stores, swipe your current credit card, and get extra cashback rewards? And what if you could also have donations sent to your favorite cause at no extra cost to you? What if this amazing program was absolutely free and very simple to set up? Well, What If is here. Welcome to Einstein Cares, where your everyday shopping gives you and your favorite cause extra money. It's fast, it's easy, and effortless.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. You'll be good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. Her name is Nicole Slade, and she's talking to us about the ability to transform lives through heart to heart, what's called Jets and Capital, global impact, bringing together people who understand that capitalism done consciously for the greater good, with the U comes before the I, will literally reshape our world in the way that we all want, which is more positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant experiences. Wonderful, Nicole. Let's talk about trauma to triumph. What is that
Yes.
all about?
Oh, Trauma to Triumph is a beautiful mission that my husband and I have. It's our nonprofit that we created together. It focuses on veterans and first responders, but it's really for anybody. And what we believe is that we all will experience trauma in this life. It's just part of life. It's something that you go through, but it's how you see that trauma, right? I love that you use the word perspective with transformation, because that is a shift in perspective. So it can either be something that tears you down, or it can be something that builds you up. And we have a wonderful 3-day training that we do. We call it a transformation training. It's the journey to nobody. And in this 3 days, you get to learn that we all showed up to this earth perfect, complete beings. And then we have these experiences, and we tell ourselves stories about these experiences. And sometimes we create belief systems around these experiences. And a lot of times those belief systems show up in our lives like unworthiness, right? Like not being good enough or not feeling good enough for things. And we make them mean things about us. And it's unlearning all of that and realizing that there's nothing wrong with us. You're not broken. No matter what you've experienced, you're not broken. You're whole and complete exactly as you are. Everything is perfect and happens perfectly in the way that it's, and so it can be a strength for you.
Wait a minute, this is great. Post-traumatic growth.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And so this training, it's really incredible, actually. Barry, I found this training. My husband and I didn't create the training. We actually met in the training just over 3 years ago. And when I went through the training, I had experienced addiction. I had gone to a rehab. I had checked myself into a rehab for 30 days. I'd done outpatient. I'd worked with psychiatrists and psychologists and therapists. And I kept trying to figure out what was wrong with me. Why do I have these self-destructive behaviors? I'm pretty functional in my life. You know, I was still a high achiever. I still worked hard, still had a pretty good life, but I kept doing these self-destructive things. And I kept thinking, what is wrong with me? Why am I like this? Why do I keep doing these things over and over again that I know aren't working? And what am I creating by this? And on this search to find answers, I had a friend who kept saying, you need to go to this training. And he told me for 4 years to go. And I kept saying, no, I don't want to go. I didn't really believe in it. And finally, I got to a point where I said, okay, I'll try it. I finally surrendered and said, I'm willing to try anything. And I went to this training, and it was so crazy because I'd struggled with all these things. I never talked about them in the training. In these 3 days, you just get to step through different experiences. And I really didn't even talk a lot in the training. I just was absorbing a lot and internalizing a lot. But at the end of it, all of a sudden, I realized like I had no desire to drink or to use or to check out at all. Like I was excited about life and I wanted to step through everything. And when I had that realization, what I realized is it wasn't even about any of that. It was that I was connected to me now. And I knew I was whole and complete. And there was never anything wrong with me. I wasn't broken. And we can all experience different things. And addiction is one of those things that many of us will experience. A lot of people experience that. But and a lot of us don't too, but there are a lot of us that do. And when you do, it doesn't have to define you, right? That's just an experience that we had. And it worked out perfectly, right? It was perfect in itself. And so I'm so grateful for that experience and going through that training, because after that, I had a huge shift, and it was a perspective shift. And that's a transformation. And we have lots and lots of stories like that of people that come through that are suicidal. And now they look back and they go, I can't believe I ever felt that way. I can't imagine why I ever thought like that. But it's just that perspective shift and that transformation. And so my husband and I met in there, and he was writing a book on trauma and his experiences in Afghanistan as an Apache helicopter pilot, called Cleared Hot. And it's an excellent book. And he was in the middle of writing. He was just about finishing it up, though. And we got together and I started reading his book. And I said, this is great. I love it. how can we work together? And so we started working together, and we realized that this training, he was always wanted to create a training on the back end for his book, create a program and then a training. And we realized this training was it. This was what we needed to complete what he had started. And so we got together and formed a nonprofit, and then we created a joint venture with the Journey to Nobody. And so now what we do is we raise money to help put people through this training that have experienced trauma. And it's huge shifts. We actually have an 80 to 85% efficacy rate in addiction recovery. So the founder of it, and the guy that started it, Shane Scott, he works in an addiction recovery center a couple days a week, and they have a huge success rate with this. And so it's pretty incredible. We're super fortunate and blessed to be able to do this work. And so that's really what everything drives towards that we're doing. It's just
So this is so wondrous, because you've been listening, I trust, through the whole show. I'm talking to people all around the world. And we're talking about jets and capital and money and doing and business and such. And now we're expecting the second half. We're going to even talk about more and how you all can be billionaires. And now what's happening is Nicole is sharing with you, bearing her soul in the most beautiful, positive, purposeful, pleasant manner, about the realities of life, that we are all, each individual person, completely whole. That's with a W. Most people spell whole and they think of themselves without the W. Whole, perfect, capable, and understand that everybody has trauma. Here you're hearing or seeing this beautiful, wonderful woman thinking, oh, her life is just so wonderful. And no wonder she's talking about this, because she's rich and famous and good looking. That, yes. And she's been through stuff. Or if you know the story about Barry Shaw, just go to my website and read. I used to be a quadriplegic. Hello, paralyzed overnight from a rare disease. Healthy in the morning, paralyzed in the evening. Now what do you do with your life? Sure, Slade. And what the ability to embrace change and trauma. As we say, to go from 2 to 4. And when I say 2 to 4, people think numbers, number 2, number 4. What we're really talking about is the letters TO to the letters FOR. When you recognize that God is not doing this to you or to me, he's doing it, or she's doing it for me. Everything is done for my benefit. When you create that shift, as you said so nicely, in perspective, you might like this. SHIFT is an acronym that stands for something happening inside, facilitating transformation.
I love that. Love it. It's perfect.
Well, that's the title of a book that I wrote last year called Oh Shift. We kept the F below the line. Okay. I am so deeply touched, Nicole, by what you just revealed, because I didn't know any of this, not that I should have. And that's why I'm glad you brought it out. So I want everybody around the world, because not everybody can experience what it's like to live in America. We live in the freest country in the world, no matter all the problems that are here. And we think they're problems. They're really all opportunities. And on many other places in the world, you don't even have that, because there's a constriction of the political system, et cetera. It's a mindset. And what we're urging everybody with I in Las Vegas and with the Joy of Living podcast and what we do, what Barry Shaw does, what Nicole does, and the people we work with, is to enable everybody to understand you as a unique individual have the opportunity to transform the world by transforming yourself. Am I correct on that, Nicole?
Absolutely. Like I said at the beginning, we truly believe that the outer world is just a reflection of our inner world.
So let me, during the break, I came up with an acronym for your name. May I share it with you?
Yeah, I would love that. Thank you.
Nicole, Nicole, stands for nurturing, insightful, caring, optimistic, loving, enthusiastic.
Barry, it's perfect. Thank you. I love that.
Well, it's you. It's just a reflection of your name reflects who you are, right? So
Yeah.
let's go and make a small shift, and let's talk more about money, business, growth, helping, serving, nonprofit. So when it comes down to it, it's all about the S word.
Yeah,
Service.
serving.
Service. That's what money is. Money has no value unless and until it's used as a lever for service. Am I right on that?
100%. Absolutely.
And that's why you're bringing together at the events, let's say in Las Vegas and throughout in different places in the country, people who, we'll call it the haves, in the sense that they not just have money or access to capital, but they have alignment with purpose.
Yes.
And when they meet people who recognize that they also have alignment with purpose and they can create a bond, now that just makes a shift in the world, right? It's a tectonic shift, like any other earthquake, except on the earth, you feel you go like this and you get nervous. When you bring people together, people go like this. And they say, yay, we love you, Nicole. So just in the minute or so that we have together before we have to say goodbye for today, is just tell us what the atmosphere is like at the Jetson Capital, the global impact in these unique sessions with remarkable humans that are transforming the world.
You know, I love the atmosphere in both. In Jetson Capital, it's a very exciting. It's the glitz and the glam. It's very fun. A lot of energy in the room. At the global impact events, it's more intimate. It's that more curated one-to-one connections. Both have amazing energy, and both events are creating beautiful things in the world. It is different energies. The global impact events are more of that heart-to-heart, creating impact. Jetson Capital is more focused on the capital. But what we keep finding is, like you said, creating that capital comes from purpose and serving others. And so they're both very fun, very exciting events. You get to be around just some amazing people, and you look at them, and just like you said, you sometimes think people have this perfect life, and you get to know them, and you find out we all have our challenges and struggles, and we're all people at the end of the day. And it's just a wonderful place to get to see that and to get to really know people.
Woo! Nicole, we love you. So I'm going to mention I was taught many years ago by a very brilliant business person, a woman, mentioned that whenever you write a letter or an email, she didn't say email because we didn't have in those days, you always should put a PS. And she taught me PS, people think they know what it stands for, postscript. It really stands for, she told me, purpose, service. Purpose, server, or purposeful service, as she used to say. Nicole, I'm sorry to say that we're coming to a close in our time together. I have 3 quick questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Number 1, will you come back again?
Oh, I would love to.
Woo!
Love
Thank
to.
you.
Yeah,
Number
thank
2, Nicole, you only have 80 seconds to answer this. What is your most fervent desire?
To make a difference in the world. That's so easy. I put my intention years ago. I wanted to serve those who served others because I feel like that's the way to create the biggest impact. And it's just, how do we make a difference for people in the world that need it the most, right? It's so easy to be caught up in our daily lives, but if you look around you, there's people that are suffering all around us. So
you just heard it. She defined herself. My fervent desires. I'm a mad woman. Mad stands for make a difference. And number 3, may I give you a hug in front of 508,922 people around the world?
Yes, I would love that.
Let me tell you what hug stands for. Everybody who listens knows. Heartfelt, unlimited giving. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
And again, you're listening to Eye on Las Vegas. Remember to follow us on Spotify and Apple and share this with 5 people. You want to do 50 or 100, it's up to you, at least 5, so we can have millions of people being touched by the amazing energy and insights of this wondrous, credible being, Nicole Slade. And our blessing from Nicole and Barry is go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Nicole, don't go away.